Hey, Blaze here, and I just wanted to talk to you about the value of unions. Um, I know a lot of people, basically, they work in a small business or something, and, when you think of a unionized workplace, usually it's like, hundreds of people, and like half of them are in the union. You got a big contractor firm of a bunch of construction people, and they're all in the CFMEU or something, right? When you're asking yourself, why do I need a union? Why am I in the union? One of the reasons is that in a union, they can help you with negotiation. So, that yearly sit down with your boss or your manager. We're thinking a 2% increase this year. First of all, union jobs usually have some sort of EBA, and that's like this big thing. It's going to everyone. Everyone's on the EBA. So those kind of contracts, they're good because you know what you're getting, but they can be a bit iffy because they're set in stone for some years. And if you have a crappy union, or if you have no union at all, or if you have someone who's in the union but doesn't get it. So if there are some EBAs that can be like signed, they only need like one person to sign it and say, yeah, I'm in the union, sign. And then that can undermine the whole process. And, so union's good, but sometimes there are sort of contracts that get screwed. And I guess I just wanted to talk about them a little bit because they're really important, but most people don't. They don't understand why. They just, the kind of media that we all consume, usually American, right? And they don't really have unions anymore. Their unions kind of suck, by and large. They have some strong unions, but the Teamsters came out in support of Trump, all right? And immediately they're like, all right, so for our financial reform, what we're going to do about workers' rights, I'm just going to tank all of them. And the Teamsters are like, what? It's like, it's leopards eating faces, right? But one of the things that as a worker you might be entitled to is to fight against a bad work claim. Say you got fired and you're like, I've looked at my employee paperwork and according to this, I shouldn't have been able to have been fired for that thing that you fired me for. All right, like office drama happens. Not in my workplace, great workplace, but office drama happens and sometimes, a manager doesn't like you and then you get fired and you're like, I feel like that was unfair dismissal. But, what are you going to do? Pay for a lawyer? Like, usually lawyers, they don't always work on contingency. Yeah, you got to pay. Like, the lawyers win in these fights. And, it's a bit garbage. But a lot of unions, they deal with this stuff. It's a service that they provide to their union members. And a lot of them have lawyers on retainer. But you can't just get into trouble and then join your union. Similar to how you can't hurt yourself and then get insurance. Oh, actually, it would have been nice if I was paying into something that would help me later. Geez, I wish I was paying into something that would have helped me later. That would have been clever to do in the past. So, I recommend joining your union. It is tax deductible. And if you ever get into trouble, your union's there to help you. I guess I'll just quickly throw some shade at the red unions. There were a bunch of unions that popped up basically because of COVID. So in Queensland, the nurses union, Instead, they have like there's some red union, red nurses union. And basically, they all actually are headquartered in the Courier Mail building. So I wouldn't trust them. Yeah, they're not worth the money that you pay them. They say that they don't put money into politics, but union organizing is political. We have one side of the aisle, so of the two majors, you have one side that wants to weaken unions and one side that wants to strengthen unions. Yeah, so right now we have multi-employer bargaining, which means that before, you might have one employer with their unionized workforce would be going over their EBA, but another workforce with some of the same union members but less members, they can say, we would like to get in on that. There's a construction firm A, construction firm B, they both have CFMEU members, but this one was going to go into their EBA, and then this one was like, oh, but we're going to do ours over here, 6 months later. And they can go, no, let's just do them both here. Let's renew a new multi-employer bargaining agreement. And this means that employees and businesses aren't fighting between each other about their EBAs. And I think ultimately, if one union or multiple unions, maybe, I don't know, if they secure wins for, 1,000 workers, wouldn't it be nice if they could secure wins for 2,000 workers? Because instead, it's hard. It's really hard to get anyone psyched up to do anything. It's really hard. Think about the last time that you went on a fitness binge and you're like, I'm gonna run every day, and then it gets to day 5. It's hot. So it's really hard to strike while the iron is hot and get a better agreement and sign it for the next 3 years, and 20% pay rise over 3 years, set in stone, done. And I think that's really good. So there's my long-winded rant about unions. I meant to do it for 1 minute, but here we are at 7:45. So yeah. Anyway, have a good one.